Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your elemental energy reading for the month of December for the fire energies of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. If you're curious about any of the decks or cards I'm using, they're linked in the description down below. There's also a natal chart if you've never had your charts read. It's through Llewellyn. It's not sponsored or anything, but it's a really good product. It gives you the baselines of what the 12 houses are and little signs and symbols, and then there's 10 to 20 pages describing what all that is. So if you've never had anything like that done, that's a really good resource just to kind of give you an idea of who you are as a person and how the stars have played with that. So with that, we'll get started with our reading. I read intuitively, so the messages that we bring in from the cards or from the I-ching, we'll read the original text and then we'll allow source to bring in the rest of it. And I cast the hexagram before we start the video. So, fire, you have number 63. And it is called After Completion. After completion, success in small matters, persistence in a righteous course brings reward. Good fortune at the start, disorder in the end. So this kind of almost tells you that it's not worth finishing the project this month because things may end up not being the way you want them to be. Like, you're going to have a really good start. Things are going to look really well. But then there's going to come this monkey wrench in the middle of everything, and it's going to throw it off. But the energy that I'm getting, and we'll break down the lines here in a second, the energy I'm getting is that's more of a test of will than it is actual failure. It's more saying, okay, things went well, but let's see how well you do if it doesn't go well. So we'll see how this plays out. Our foundation line, the bottom line here is, he breaks the wheel of his chariot and gets the rear part wet, no error. Well, breaking a wheel of a chariot, I don't care if it was 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, or yesterday, it's not always a good thing. And it says you get the rear part wet. So, wheel breaks, ends up in the water. But it's really saying this isn't really your fault. This was kind of a fluke accident. So your no error is, this isn't your, things may not be going great right now, and they might be better later, but don't worry about it. It's not like it's going to be a big chaos for you. Your second place line, the lady loses the blind from her chariot window. She should not go in search of it, for she will recover it in 7 days. So 7 is going to be the prime number. Days doesn't really mean much with a lot of the I-ching. It's more looking for the pattern of sevens. And the lady loses the blind from her chariot window. So this was something that protected her from light, from prying eyes. So there could be this feeling of being exposed in December, fire, but again, it doesn't mean it's negative. It more says this is kind of necessary. Someone's checking on you. Someone's making sure you're doing the right thing. So it may not be the most comfortable situation, but don't go try to hide anything. Just be open. It's not a big deal because you'll get your privacy back. The people who are observing you, quote unquote, are going to get bored and look somewhere else. So just keep plugging away, things will be alright. Your third place line, the illustrious ancestor, namely the Emperor Wu Ting, 1324 BC, carried out a punitive expedition in Kuai Fang, literally the land of the devils, and conquered it after 3 years. Men of mean attainment would have been useless. So this is saying that the illustrious ancestor, someone who's went before you, it could be a manager, it could be someone higher up in a situation, it could be a parent, especially if it's something that, like proposing to somebody, this whatever challenge is coming up here. This person who's went before you carried out their primary task, and like it said, Kuai Fang, which is the land of the devils, and conquered it after 3 years. So there may be a little bit of 3-day struggle, something going on in threes, and that's where the good fortune at the start, disaster in the end, or disorder in the end. This could be that disorder, is that number 3 aspect where 3 things could be setting off. But it's saying men of mean attainment, average people, would not be able to have done, they would have been useless. This is where you get to step up. This is where you get to show that you're not just average. You're not just the average person, male or female, it doesn't matter. You are someone who's able to step beyond their challenges. They can see the way around it. And fire, this is where your passion, your creativity is really going to play out for you as overcoming this land of devils, this 3 aspect, 3 days, 3 hours, 3 situations, whatever it is. But you're going to be able to pass through this, and you're going to come out on the other side looking really well, as long as you heed the advice of those who went before. That's the important part here. So our 4th place line: amidst the fine silk are ragged garments, be cautious throughout the livelong day. Just because something looks really super nice, sometimes things look good, but then you cut into them and it's a Brussels sprout when you thought it was a chocolate bonbon. Or as happened when I was younger, it looks like chocolate pudding with like apple slices. It was actually onions. So April Fool's joke, it was kind of funny. But among the fine silk are ragged garments. Do not be deceived by outward appearances, because what's hiding underneath is going to be disgusting. And that's where the disorder comes from, not being aware, not following the righteous path. That's a moral, that's an ethical, that is staying true to your personal values and divine values. That's what's going to lead you out of these situations. So be aware, just because something looks good doesn't mean it actually is. Your 5th place line: in terms of benefits, the neighbor to the east gained less from sacrificing an ox than the neighbor to the west obtained from carrying out spring sacrifice. So the former sacrifice, when we're talking about this, the neighbor to the east sacrificed first, and it was much bigger. Timing was bad, so it didn't do so well. But the neighbor to the west was a little bit later. They did theirs in the proper time. You sacrifice in the spring, at least in this aspect, and their sacrifice was accepted. So this is saying, just because you're giving something up doesn't mean it's the right time. Everything happens in its proper course. Everything happens in its proper path. So if there's something that's coming up in your life, fire, that you want to get rid of, you want to maybe stop swearing so much, you want to cut out a certain food group, proper time, proper place. Walking into the holidays saying, I'm not eating sugar, you're going to fail. And then it's just going to be rough for you because you're going to mentally beat yourself up. And that's what they're saying, is don't sacrifice at the wrong time. Make sure when you're ready to let something go, that you have things in place so that it actually is an easy path. The disorder comes from not following the divine order of existence, and there is such a thing, and that's what's going to lead into the disorder. So you want to make sure you're paying attention. Like, this is a horrible time to do any form of dieting. Save that for December 26th. Like, that way you can set up yourself to be like, no, the holidays are over, I'm going to fix my diet. The family stuff is done, I'll stop swearing, or whatever it is you're working on. Everything happens in the proper order, and that's where sticking true to your core values, the righteous path, is going to lead you to that state of being able to see the pattern. When is it the best time to do this? When is maybe not the best option right now? Once you get going on your path, that other stuff doesn't matter after that, but the starting point does. So our capstone here: his head gets wet, trouble. And this is just basically saying you're out in the rain, you might get a little dribble on your head. It's not going to be great, and that's where the disorder comes in. But if you've ever went for a walk in the rain and you get some water in your hair, water on your face, is it there forever? No? Okay. So you don't have to worry about the long term. The disorder is temporary. The challenges are not going to be massive. They're going to show up. They're going to test you. So fire, don't think you're going to walk through the month of December tra-la-laing with perfect success, because that is not the case. You will have your success, but you're also going to be tested to make sure that you're following the righteous path, the ethical, moral, core value type path. And that's just karma playing out in the best way possible so that you know what you're doing is actually the best course of action. So let's break this month down by weeks, and December has, and I totally forgot to look at that, so we'll pull that up real quick. Sorry, Fire. Uh, just gotta see how many weeks. Each week we're gonna look at a guide or guardian, a message from source, which is generally a positive affirmation, positive reassurance, and then we'll take a peek at the tarot to see what else we can learn for the month. And it looks like we have 5 weeks in December, so we'll do 5 sets. And with that, like, comment, and subscribe. I read intuitively, so if you see something different in the cards than what I am bringing forward, feel free to drop that in the comments down below. It's always interesting to hear other people's opinions on the cards, because you never know what other people's intuition brings forward. So, your first week's guide or guardian is the Ascended Master Yogananda, and the stone is rhodonite. Let's see if I can, there we go. Empowered Service is the title here. You step into your rightful place with dignity, reverence, and grace. Your higher purpose is empowered by the divine. Your connection to the light is strong, unwavering, and enduring, so much so that you trust in its power and presence unconditionally. You accept the invitation from the universe to step up into the new level of expression and fulfillment of your highest purpose. You open your heart to the divine harvest of blessings pouring into the soul. You recognize the readiness within your own soul. So this card is really saying empowered service is taking steps in the next obvious path. And your version of obvious is going to be completely different from mine and everyone else's. But you're able to see, well, this is where my goal is. This is endgame. But you see a path that maybe someone else doesn't, but you're following the divine pattern, and so it's going to work out better. And that's just like with the I-ching. The successes are going to be there. The universe is not saying no, but what is really being said is make sure you're following your intuition. Make sure you're following the code of conduct, your ethics, your morals that you feel is correct. If you happen to veer from that, that's where you're going to end up in the disorder, but it's not a permanent state. So don't let, like, oh, you messed up. Okay, go back to the path, keep going. It's not going to be a permanent thing. So it's really, you have a powerful guide coming in saying, we can do this together. It's not worth stressing about. And if you have rhodonite, which is a really beautiful pink stone, it's got some little flecks. You can't see them in this, but it's got flecks of greens, sometimes grays. I've got some unpolished chunks somewhere in this chaos. And it is a really fun stone, and it's got a really gentle energy. It's very supportive, but it's not forceful. So that's another key takeaway for this week, first week of December. Your message from Source is our ancient future. Contradictory, but not really. This one I might have to read down here. Our ancient remembering is emerging. Seed crystals and the knowledge that they are imbued with are becoming unearthed. Those who see a better future are not just dreaming, their hearts and minds are hearkening to the core of earth-based traditions to bring through the knowledge that will help shift the paradigm into balance. This particular card has an activation, and you're being showered with blessings in preparation for this transformation. It may be turbulent at times, apropos for the I-ching's reading as well, but you will grow and heal through the coming journey. You can navigate the situation you have no experience with by being truly present. Integrity and intuition will guide you. Fire. This is really an enhancement of what was said with the I-ching. This month is going to have success. Your intuition is what's going to keep everything moving smoothly. If you happen to veer from the course, it's not a big deal. Step back on the path and keep going. But don't get distracted by other people's theories. Well, I think that you should be doing it this way. I think you should propose to that person at this time. I think you should start your business here. Oh, I don't think you should do that with your business. Okay. Opinions are like certain other body parts. Everyone has one. So you don't have to take what they're saying at face value. You can, take it and apply it, see if it resonates, because that's what we do. That's how we analyze things. But fire, really pay attention to your soul. Really pay attention to the inner voice, the inner knowledge, and the inner knowing. That is going to play out so much more important for you than someone else's opinion on what you're doing. because their opinion is their opinion. It's your life, so you get to be the one to make the choice. Your message from the tarot is the 4 of Pentacles, so 4 of Earth. And with this one, I feel like there may be an outside energy coming in. Like this could be a heads up for someone coming in trying to force a situation on you. It's not saying that it's going to turn out bad, but it may say, this card's really saying, don't get distracted or don't be coerced into doing something you're not ready for. Follow your inner guidance. If your inner guidance is saying don't do it, then don't. Just because someone else is trying to bully you, I guess we'll say, into doing something doesn't mean that you have to listen. And with that one, I'm also feeling this is applying more to relationships. So if you've got a family member or a partner or spouse, whatever, that is really saying, you're going to do it this way because this is how he's always have done it, okay? But unless you're taking over the family business and it's something that you're starting, you can do it your own way. You can take their advice, listen to what they have to say, but you're a free soul. You have free will, so you get to make those decisions. And that's what I'm getting with this one, is more of a heads up. Don't be forced into doing something that you're not comfortable with. Fire, which usually is kind of a trick with fire anyway, because you kind of do your own thing, kind of like water, but you may be getting a little bit more pushback in this first week of December, so just be aware of that. Your second week is the angel, oh good grief, Lahabiel, and the stone is black tourmaline, and your energy is purification. This is such a fun card. The images on it, it's got a cool mandala. You courageously choose to let go. You embrace healing and renewal. You release and surrender with perfect trust. You are cleansed through a powerful outpouring of spiritual grace. Spaciousness now opens within you, beneath you, behind you, and before you. With this clean, clear space, that which is outmoded is absorbed and reborn as an unlimited potential for manifesting new sacredness. Now is a time of potential and grace, which you amplify and activate through relaxation and release. You are blessed with the spiritual cleansing of divine protection and begin again. Fire. There was a part of that really resonated with I-ching. This is where you know when to sacrifice and when not to. This is when you know when to take the next steps. This energy that's coming in the second week, Angel Lahabiel and Black Tourmaline. Black Tourmaline is very protective. It's also very grounding. And it also triggers a healing within your soul. So this is a time of release. This is where you get to work. The second week is where you really start to figure out what's going on inside, what's not working, what maybe needs to be adjusted. If there's something that needs to be released, this is a time to plan to let that go. You don't have to do it this week. The second week is not saying, must release now. It's saying you'll know when the time is right to start that journey. Because I don't care what kind of thing you're letting go of, there's a journey involved. This is the week where you get to figure out what is it you're letting go of. Not letting it go, but what is your purpose in letting it go, and what is, like I said, is it eating less sugary foods? Is it maybe swearing less? Whatever it is, this is the time where you get to kind of figure out what it is you need to let go of. And when you do that, just by saying this is what I want to let go, doesn't mean you're starting today, but you're going to feel a release from that, saying, oh man, I know what my next steps are. I know what my plan is. This is the next goal. So you've got an outline starting to form in the second week, and that's going to help you figure out the rest of the month. Just like the I-ching, following your intuition, following your inner guidance is going to play out the best options here. So your message from source is the awakened awareness. Let's see if I can read this one up here. There are many levels of awakening. Keep learning and putting yourself into situations where you can grow, stay aligned with your inner guidance. Do what you love to keep your vibe high. Seek not instant pleasure, but substantial and sustainable joy. Eating healthy, keeping your body active, having life goals, but with enough wiggle room to hear the answers to your prayers. Find your unique way to connect to the divine inside of yourself, not as external seeking, but as a receptive allowing. Be inspired to see the question at hand with a different perspective. Look between the lines for a deeper interpretation. When we really tap into this type of energy in this second week, it's saying, yes, be aware of what's going on. Understand when you need to let something go and when you can start the process. But also looking at things, I have this image of the Hanged Man card in my mind where he's hanging upside down by one leg. Change your perspective. If something is just not looking right, you can't quite get a clear image in this second week, work with your angels. Lahabiel is a good option this week, as well as working with crystal of tourmaline, black tourmaline, and allow yourself to shift. Allow yourself to see a different frequency, because when you do, this is where you're learning. You're putting yourself into situations that allow you to grow, staying aligned with your inner guidance, staying aligned with your intuition, with that creative spark that the divine brings forward. When you're in that state, answers tend to fall into place. They may fall into your lap, sometimes literally. Other times you may just know the next step, and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, oh, that was that problem. That was a while back, because it was so easy to take the logical next step when you're following your inner guidance, that the problems just kind of melt away and you don't realize that you've already overcome them months down the road. And then you look back and you're like, I was struggling with that, but now it's not a big deal. Like, you could overcome it again tomorrow. Wouldn't even matter. So that's what Source is wanting to let you know. You have the skills, you have the tools, you have the ability to deal with anything life throws at you. Stay grounded in the moment, in the now. Don't worry about the future. Don't have anxiety about the past. Both of those things, the past is the past. It's over. Learn from it, move forward. The future, you can fix, you can adjust, you can create. So use your passion fire to create what it is that you want to experience, and then follow your inner guidance to achieve those goals. Your second week's message from the tarot is the Four of Chalices. You've got four twice. Pay attention to number 4, apparently. The Four of Chalices is really saying not to get too caught up in daydreams. This is the energy I'm getting here. It's good to focus. It's good to have those daydreams so you can get an idea of what you're wanting to create. You know, the creative visualization, the guided meditations, the things where you're focusing and you're forming, you're putting things into the vortex, as Abraham Hicks says. But don't stay there. The universe is wanting you to create, build this momentum, get things started, spark that creative fire, but don't stay in only the creative space. You have to bring it into manifestation. So get things started. This second week is they're wanting to say this is a creative week. This is where you figure out what you need to let go of. Cool. That's going to make space so you can bring in the next part. Stay focused on what's important, your values, the creative thing. If you've been wanting to start that business, stay focused on that this second week. What's your next step? Is it getting the tax ID? Is it getting the website? Is it looking into leases for a physical building? This is a good week to make space and plan, but not force. You're just kind of checking things out this second week, but don't get distracted by the staying in the creative mind visualization part, and allow it to actually start to come into fruition. So, I thought there was words on this card, on the front card. Your third week is Angel Balthiel, and the stone is Rose Quartz. It's kind of a cool looking card, but it almost looks like there's words surrounding this rose quartz, but it's just like the gilding of the card. So this card is titled Heart Healing. Your beautiful heart is worthy of love and radiates with kindness, generosity, and healing grace. Your heart has an unlimited capacity for wisdom, forgiveness, and unconditional love that brings freedom and renewal. You respectfully listen to your heart. You trust that your heart's true desires are divinely inspired, guided, and protected, so they can manifest to the world according to the highest wisdom and grace. You allow your heart to guide your way. This third week, they're wanting you to focus on your heart chakra this third week, and they're saying using rose quartz is to hold it in your hand as a meditation tool, placing a deposit in your chest. If you have a necklace or a pendant, if it's one that sets directly over your heart chakra, wear that. They're really wanting to focus on that rose quartz energy and the heart. This is where you start to tap into that unlimited love. This third week, the first 2 weeks were more about getting you set up, getting you ready for things. This third week, they're wanting to show you compassion, like remind you of what it is you're doing. Like, yes, you have this goal, you dreams, ambitions, and those are great, but they're also going to play out into the real world. So you want to make sure that you're staying grounded as you do this. And rose quartz is going to help show you the beauty and the magic of the now moment. The future is what it is. You're painting it as we speak. The past, you've learned your lessons. You don't need to live there. The now, this is the spark. This is the illuminated aspect of creation. This is where you can bring that divine heart that you carry, the spark of creation, the stardust grain that you carry within your soul, into full light. Shine this third week. Allow that brightness to enhance. God Source Divine will bring in the energy that you need to really amplify. So this third week is about taking everything that you've been building inside and allowing it to flow naturally out. Irradiate to your highest level in this third week, fire, and warm those around you by your presence. So your message from Source is the journey to wholeness. Love from a sense of wholeness. We may have a concept of others that's not really who they are due to our subconscious projections or ideals. We could have the idea that we will feel better about ourselves when we achieve our goal or status. This takes us out of the present and puts conditions on our love. Hold the vision that you and others already are perfect. Thus, we can heal through the transformative power of acceptance. Acknowledge the full spectrum and bring any fractured parts back to the present moment. Here we are whole, empowered, and able to step into the brightest version of ourselves. Fire, you have two cards, two different decks even, that are saying bring in the light of creation, inspire the deepest aspects of your own fire, and allow that compassion, that love, that radiance to warm those around you. Again, my guides are entertaining me right now. They're saying don't be a doormat, but that doesn't mean you can't share. Does not mean you can't show others. And sometimes it's a simple smile. Sometimes it's something as minor as holding a door open for somebody, or taking that cart back for the cashier if they look tired at the end of their day. Whatever it is, it's the little things that you do without even thinking about it that you hold in that now moment that trigger this compassion. That's the important part of where you're coming in this third week. So be aware that even the littlest thing that you do in this third week can really change someone's life for the better. A simple thank you, a simple I appreciate what you're doing. Those things stick with people. And I've had that experience myself a couple times in the last few days, where people will say something and it's like, to them, they really are just saying that they appreciate something that you're doing, but it can change how your day is going that quick. You don't even realize that you're just kind of feeling, you're maybe a little grumpy even, and someone will make a comment to you. They'll say thank you for something that you didn't even realize you were doing, and all of a sudden you feel different. You feel it's like snaps you back into the moment, and you can actually process what's going on better. So when you activate that kind of energy, especially with these two energies, rose quartz and then the journey to wholeness, you're bringing forth this energy of the divine spark, that little creative fire that you carry within. It's going to be enhanced this week when you listen to your intuition. And they're also saying don't forget to do your prayers and meditations. Do them daily, especially this third week. It's going to help you just feel better and stay more grounded, but it's going to enhance that inner spark as well. So let's see what your tarot has. We have the Six of Swords. So I'll have to edit this one for the tubes. This one is actually kind of an interesting card because it says rising above. It's about getting beyond where you were, what was going on before. This is where you get to rise above a situation. And this third week, with the spark of creation coming forward, coming back into the wholeness of who you are, you're able to rise above and beyond the stuck energy that you had felt before. So this third week is really unlocking a lot of stuff here. And with swords, it's air, it's cutting loose a lot of the illusions. This is where you get to be a leader, but you're not leading from down here, you're leading from up here. And what they're showing me is you're not leading from a place of, I am better, so I will show you what we're doing. It's leading from, hey, let's do this together. You're the one with the plan, but you are working with the team. So they're saying that this is a way to inspire others' creation, and this is a way for you maybe to take on an apprentice, maybe literally, figuratively, spiritually, however, but it's because you are being the example, and that's leading and guiding from the heart. That's leading and guiding in the most healthy way possible. So this third week, really focus on the heart chakra if you are into working with the chakras. If you have a rose quartz, something, pendant, necklace, whatever, find one that has a chain on it that sits directly over your heart chakra, and allow yourself the peace and grace of actually working in that heart, in that chakra, because it's going to be an intense week for that. Very beautiful, just intense. Your fourth week's guide or guardian is the Ascended Master Kuthumi, and the stone is moss agate with the sacred ecosystem. Well, you're working with the divine technology in the chakras anyway. You're stepping into the heart, so this fourth week, this is going to put stuff into practice. The universe provides you with spiritual energy and charismatic magnetism to attract all beings in need of your light, so you can fulfill your highest destiny as a healing presence within this world. You accept your place in the greater divine scheme, embracing supporting connections in the spiritual world and in the material world, with the understanding that your fulfillment and the fulfillment of all beings you encounter are divinely intertwined. You give yourself permission to plug in to the divine and receive the blessings therein. This week, this fourth week, you are stepping into the fullness of what you've been trying to achieve. The I-ching talks about taking advice from someone who's older, allowing that to guide you through the desert of devils. So this is the week where you kind of tap into that energy. And when you do, you're connecting to God's source divine. You're connecting to those around you. The third week brought you into your heart and allowed you to radiate that energy out. In this fourth week, now you're able to apply the knowledge that you've gained over the years into practical use. This is where you take your thoughts into emotions, into the physical world. So this fourth week, you could be having some manifestations of whatever it is you're working on, building on, aspiring towards, starting to show up. And if that's just to improve your health, to improve as a person, this fourth week is where things are going to start moving for you. The second week was really getting clear on what it is you wanted to create, clear space so you can bring in something new. This fourth week, on the other hand, is saying, now it's time to start processing. What is it you're letting go of? What is it you're bringing in? So you've got a dynamic starting to build here. That's a cool looking card. Your message from Source is balanced focus. I cannot see that. The Lemurian people are said to have been androgynous, a perfect balance between masculine and feminine energy. Sorry, I can't read that at that angle. As it densified in physical form, this card invites you to look at the masculine and feminine energy from a balanced perspective. What needs to happen to form a holistic and equalized foundation? For more masculine drive and focus, concentrate on goals, desires, and ambitions. If you want to engage with the feminine energy, for receptive trust, flow, and surrender, consider the things you are already grateful for. Feel the warmth, gratitude, and comfort of knowing everything is divinely perfect just the way it is. So you have Moss Agate and Ascended Master Kuthumi saying it's time to find the inner and outer balance, bring the inner light to the outside world. Then you have Blended Forces saying this is where you find balance as above, so below, as within, so without. To the right, to the left, the sun and the moon, all of the things are in balance. This is where you get to play into this balance. Source wants you to understand everything that is in balance is in order. Everything that is in chaos is disorder. The I-ching talks about when you're going to have success, but there may be disorder along the way. Disorder is when you fall out of alignment. Disorder is when you stop listening to your intuition. We all do it, so it's not like this is a picking on fire or anything. It's saying try your best to stay focused on the balance. Stay focused on that connection to source. Work with your heart chakra energy. Really inspire and inflame that passion and allow your manifestations to work through the layers of reality into the physical. This week is a really strong week where you're going to be making some changes this 4th week, and you may be even subconsciously doing it. It doesn't have to be consciously writing on a whiteboard, I will do this week. That's not necessary, but you're going to notice things are shifting in this 4th week. Your message from the tarot is the 10 of Wands, so Wands are fire. This is the completion of a cycle for our fire family. This is bringing the logical end to a period of struggle, to a period of wandering through the desert with your eyes closed, not knowing if you're ever going to make it out on the other side. You've succeeded, fire. You came out on the other side. You're better, you're stronger, and you glow. Your time wandering through the desert, your time wandering through the challenges from Ace to 10 have brought you to a state of divine awareness. She's wearing white, symbol of purity. But you notice her head's not cocked back. She's not being egoic because she knows that she has had to struggle. She's had to learn to grow. And all of her wisdom and knowledge has come with a price. But she is grateful for the purity that has brought her. It has cleansed her from her lesser self, the egoic self. And it's brought her into a higher state of awareness. So this month of December, by this 4th week, fire, they're showing this change is actually going to start to reflect on the outside. Whether you realize it or not, fire, others are going to notice that you have shifted, that something's different about fire, something's more attractive about fire, something has sparked others' flames as well. So work with divine. That's going to be an interesting month for our fire family here. So just remember to keep connected to God's source as you're going through this month, and notice the miracles that start happening. So your 5th week guide or guardian is the Ascended Master Serapis Bay, and clear calcite is your stone. It's the karmic grace. This should be positive. You attract divinely inspired solutions and uplifting healing energies. You consciously cultivate optimism and joy to elevate your frequency. Your soul responds with forgiveness and freedom. You allow the easiest and most graceful way to open for you. Your path is clear, and you honor the worth of your soul and the love that blesses and guides your journey. You acknowledge that karma is transformed through grace and becomes wisdom. You open your heart to such grace for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Fire, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th weeks of December are really about tapping back into the heart of who you are, your heart chakra, really taking it in and allowing it to blossom and bloom and expand beyond where you thought you could be. This is where you get to step into the beauty and the blessings of reality. Staying into the now moment creates a magical outcome, and this is what's coming up this 5th week. Your message from source is the new blueprint. Let's see if I can read that one up here or not. Sometimes the reflection doesn't work for me. Powerful, meaningful change starts with you today. Despite our desires for change, we can become overwhelmed and all that is going on and making a positive impact seem impossible. We have more of a voice than we realize. This card inspires action, no matter how small, that will create a ripple of light into the world. You are part of a bigger picture, a greater story, and your actions, your choices, and your presence are making a difference. You have more power than you realize. Focus on what you can do it well. Change takes time. Make plans and start now. Adding to that, I'll keep the card up here because this is a really beautiful card. Plant the seeds of your future. This 5th week of December is stepping into the new year. This is just after Yule, just before the new year in the Gregorian calendar. So this is a time to plant seeds for the future. Fire. You've gotten into your heart. You've tapped into the now moment. What seed are you planting? What are you wanting to create in the next year? This is the time where you get to fan the flames of your own fire. You get to work with God Source Divine to inspire yourself, and by doing so, you inspire those around you. This is a time for drastic change, but in a gentle way. You're not, going out and shaking the foundations of the universe, but you're planting the seeds of that universal shift. Your message from the tarot is number, I'm terrible with Roman numerals, 19, sorry. The sun. This is the divine masculine in his glory. This is the power of creation. This is fire incarnate. You're always supported by the moon, which is water. So your emotions are balancing your power, your creative passion, so to speak. But you have great success coming up this month, fire. But it may not be as outward as you might desire it to be. With the moon aspect here as well, it's saying the success is going to be a little bit more internalized, because the world around you has stepped into a spiritual space. You have brought your creation, your inner fire, and you're allowing it to radiate out, and the sun is saying, well done, let's keep going. So see what you can create as you go forward this month of December, fire. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, feelings, and impressions. If you saw something different with the cards, feel free to let me know about that in the comments section as well. And I will see you in the next video.